Well, everybody, the two Mustangs are done, and I'm ready to give my report. And yes, I did put together a score sheet. It'll surprise no one that the Tamiya kit came out on top, but not by quite as much as I expected. A couple of quick notes before we get started. The Revell kit is actually made on the old monogram molds from 1977. The antenna is molded onto the fuselage. The Tamiya kit, which was made from molds that were manufactured in the mid-90s, has the antenna as a separate piece. Unfortunately, I lost it, so I had to fabricate one, which is why the blue airplane might have a slightly different looking antenna. Also, you'll notice that Big Beautiful Doll, the Revell kit, has a different type of stack on each side. This is because the stacks have to go into the fuselage before the fuselage halves are put together if you're going to use the long stacks. Revell gave you two sets of stacks. Shrouded stacks that go on from the outside, or the longer stacks that go on from the inside. The Tamiya kit only had the longer stacks. I decided to use the long stacks for both aircraft to make them look as much alike as possible. Unfortunately, while handling the airplane, I dislodged one of the sets of stacks and it went inside the model with no hope of retrieving it. The other set of stacks, by comparison, were glued into place so well I could not get them to dislodge without damaging the kit. So I simply put the shrouded stack on one side. At least you get to see it as a comparison. I am at best an average model builder, and this video is not to show off two great builds because they are average at best. This is to compare two kits that were made with an equal skill level. I'll let you judge whatever that skill level is. Let's keep it nice in the comment section. The Tamiya kit has more parts and finer detail. There's no question about that. It comes with separate flaps so you can position them up or down. And it comes with two canopies because apparently the Long Beach manufactured Mustangs had a slightly different shaped canopy than the Texas manufactured Mustangs. Of course, as you can tell, Revell, which uses the old monogram molds, does allow you to have the open gun tray. The guns are adequately detailed, but of course I laid the piece down in place to put the decal on and trimmed it afterwards. You can very easily get the piece to set flush if you don't want the gun tray open. A couple of advantages of the Tamiya kit besides a little extra detail and a slightly better parts fit except for the wing roots were that the Tamiya kit has a slightly tighter locking landing gear when you put it in, and it has a separate tail wheel and antenna, which makes detailing the airplane without worrying about knocking those off a little bit easier. The Revell monogram kit, as in tradition of monogram models, the tail wheel has to be inserted when the fuselage halves go together. Not a big deal, but something worthy of note. One of the nicest features of the Tamiya kit is that the propeller has separate independent blades, which allows you to paint the spinner prior to putting the blades on. It saves you a lot of taping, and it also makes it a little bit easier to detail the prop blades. There's nothing wrong with the monogram system. It's simpler, but given the detail that went into Big Beautiful Doll's nose section, it would have been easier had they done it Tamiya style. The Revell kit comes with the longer drop tanks, the Tamiya kit with the teardrop shaped drop tanks. I left the drop tanks off because I wanted the models to be as similar as possible as to not possibly skew people's opinions based on a preference for ordnance. One of the biggest advantages the Tamiya kit has is that one-piece cowling cover on top, which of course means there's no real seam line to sand out. That makes things go a little bit quicker. There is no question whatsoever that the Tamiya kit nose section was more symmetrical and went together flush and neat and made for a very pretty streamlined nose. The Revell kit took a lot of sanding and putty to get a smooth look. To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in that. I was surprised that both airplanes had some difficulty getting the fuselages to seat and seal properly. Again, one of the big advantages of the Tamiya kit having a separate antenna was it made sealing the fuselage seam line on top much easier. There were two areas on both airplanes that had a lot of trouble. That was cleaning up the seams in front of the tail wheel and cleaning up the seams on the radiator scoops. Both of them were problematic, more so than I would have expected. Tamiya kit was less problematic, but both of them took a lot of attention. And as you can tell, neither one of them really came out as well as I'd hoped. One thing that did surprise me was the windshield on the monogram kit actually fit just a little bit better, but the bubble canopy onto the frame of the Tamiya kit fit a little bit better. So each of them had a respective advantage and disadvantages on the clear parts. The monogram kit does have the recessed inner gun barrel, but that's not a big deal. The gun trays on the Revell kit looked okay, and it seals up nicely if you don't want to use it. All in all, I would say the monogram kit is about 90% of the Tamiya kit. The difference is not day and night. The price is. So here's my final analysis. So everybody warm your fingers up to melt down your keyboards giving me the hate, but here we go. And remember, this is just my humble opinion. Yes, the Tamiya kit is better. But for what you're paying, I'm not really sure it's that great of a deal. Unless you are a master modeler. If you're someone who really gets the most out of a kit, then you definitely want to get the Tamiya kit. It simply makes a nicer product. But if you're getting a gift for your kid who's just an average model builder, the monogram kit's going to do you just fine and save you a bunch of money. Personally, I'm happy with both of them, and I don't mind paying the extra money for the Tamiya kit. The Revell kit and the Tamiya kit come with an equal number of extra options. The Revell kit gives you an option of gun tray open, gun tray closed, and 2 different sets of exhaust stacks. The Tamiya kit gives you the option of flaps up or flaps down, and 2 different canopies. Do I think the Tamiya kit is worth the extra money? For some people, yes, and for some people, no. That is a personal decision. It depends on how much those extra details are worth to you. There's no question Tamiya puts a very strong premium on those details. But to the serious modeler, those details matter. The Tamiya kit is the clear winner on quality by a 10% margin. The Revell kit is a winner on price by an 80% margin. You have to make the decision for yourself where the priorities lie. There is no wrong decision. There's only your decision, and only you know what's best for you. Well, this is Max. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's keep it civil in the comments section, okay?